Maria had health insurance for 12 years, never missed a payment. When she needed it most, she was denied. The reason? A number she never knew existed. You think your data is used to show you sneaker ads on Instagram? That's just the tip of the iceberg. There's a $200 billion industry you never authorized to exist. Data brokers. In 2014, the U.S. Federal Trade Commission investigated 9 of these companies. One of them had a database with 700 billion data elements about consumers. Another adds 100 million new records. Every single day. But they don't just collect what you click. They buy your medical history, your student loan debt, how many times you go to the gym, whether you have kids, whether you're unemployed, whether you take psychiatric medication. And then they do something disturbing. They create lists. Lists with real names like bad debtors, suffering seniors, diabetes prone, urban scramble, predominantly low-income Latinos and African Americans. These lists are sold to banks, insurance companies, employers, and you don't know which list you're on. To the system, you're not a human being. You're a risk category that needs to be managed. But here's where it gets truly disturbing, because these scores don't just deny you a credit card. They can deny you medical care. And I have the proof. In 2019, University of California. Researchers analyzed an algorithm used by hospitals and insurance companies across the United States. A system that decides which patients receive extra care in high-risk management programs. This algorithm, it was being used on over 200 million people. The system's goal was simple: identify the sickest patients who needed special attention. And the metric chosen seemed logical: healthcare spending. People who spend more on hospitals and medication must be sicker. Right? Wrong. The researchers analyzed data from 43,000 white patients and 6,000 black patients between 2013 and 2015. What they discovered was published in Science, one of the world's most respected scientific journals. The result: black patients needed to be significantly sicker than white patients to receive the same care recommendation from the algorithm. Why? Because the system learned from the past. And in the past, black patients historically spent less on healthcare. Not because they were healthier, but because they had less access to medical services, fewer financial resources, inadequate health insurance. The algorithm looked at this historical inequality and turned it into a rule for the present. It reproduced the bias. It amplified the injustice. Automatically. Without guilt. Without hesitation. Thousands of people were denied the care they deserved. Because a machine couldn't see beyond the numbers. This wasn't a bug. It was a Desing failure. And it's happening right now. In hospitals, banks, tech companies, judicial systems. Here's the most terrifying part of all. You can't question what you can't understand. When a human makes a mistake, you demand explanations. You challenge it. You fight for justice. But how do you challenge a machine that even the engineers who built it can't explain? Scientists call this algorithmic opacity. The black box. These AI systems learn patterns from billions of data points, but the path that led to your specific decision. It's like asking, "Why did you deny me?" And the machine answering, "Because." If an algorithm has ever denied you something without explanation, a loan, a job, insurance, tell me in the comments. I read every single one. And here's the brutal irony. We're creating digital judges that never have to justify themselves, that can never be accused of prejudice because they're just algorithms that make millions of decisions per second without ever looking you in the eye. In a world where code is law, the machine's silence becomes the final sentence. Now, you might be thinking, that was one hospital algorithm, one study. Let me show you the scale. In 2010, there were a handful of data brokers. By 2020, over 4,000. By 2030, projections suggest that virtually every significant decision about your life could pass through an algorithm. Your mortgage, your insurance premium, your job application, whether a doctor sees you today or next month, whether you're flagged at an airport. This is your score. This is your life. And you've never even seen the number. Look, I'm not going to lie to you. The invisible score isn't going away. It's the engine of the modern digital economy. But the first act of resistance is knowing it exists. The second, demanding that it explains itself. After the hospital algorithm case was exposed, the system was corrected. Regulators started paying attention. The U.S. Consumer Financial Protection Bureau is developing rules to control data brokers. Some states have already passed laws requiring algorithmic audits. And Maria, After the algorithm was fixed, patients like her were reclassified. They got the care they deserved, not because the system had a change of heart, but because someone looked at the data and demanded answers. But we can't rely on corporate self-regulation. We need three things. Transparency. Know what data is being used. Contestation. Challenge automated decisions. Audit. Verify algorithms before deployment. Because at the end of the day, technology should expand our possibilities, not trap us in a risk spreadsheet created by people who will never look you in the face. This is just one of the shadow structures that control modern life. If you want to understand the others, subscribe. The next one I'll reveal is even more disturbing. So here's the question I leave you with. If algorithms are deciding who gets a job, who receives medical treatment, who gets to rent an apartment, who deserves a chance to start a new life, who should have the power to challenge these decisions? The companies making billions from them. Or you. In the next investigation, I'll show you how the price you pay for a ride isn't the same price your neighbor pays. And the reason is darker than you think.